So I am undergoing the great and exhausting task of creating a new VTuber model. I say new because this is my third one. Yeah, this is the first episode in the series of me showing you exactly how I create a VTuber from start to finish. Now this won't be a tutorial-based video per se, it'll be more of an experience because I love that you guys want me to do tutorials, but I do not feel like I have the expertise to properly teach you these things. So we're just gonna experience it together, and I highly recommend these YouTubers here and these YouTube videos for tutorials. That's what I used in my own VTuber rigging process. If you want to create a VTuber with me, go for it. If you don't, that's fine. But this is the first episode in the series. We are going to be drawing our VTuber itself. Now, when it comes to the character design itself, I created that months ago, all the way back in November, and I created her because I felt like my original character was way too complicated, way too overwhelming, way too many points of interest, and it was just an eyesore. Even though it was really cute and really colorful, it wasn't really good for things like animation, making comics, drawing myself really quickly for thumbnails, things like that. So I decided to do a bit of a character redesign. So the entire character design process is all in Clip Studio. Once we see the model and actually draw it and make sure all the layers are put in place, cleaning up all the lines and things like that, that's going to be in Procreate. So I just want to make that clear because I know people are going to be asking in the comments which programs I used and when. So I had a lot of input from my viewers while I was working on, the basic puzzle pieces of how this character is going to be made. Like, I wanted her, of course, just like with my last model, to be like me but not look like me. So I started out with, of course, the very basic body structure. So I created a proportion sheet. I used my original, second VTuber model as a reference. So I was just analyzing it based off of the new art style that I developed over the months, and then I put it and tried to translate it to the new model. Now I wanted improved proportions. My model's head was a little bit too big for my preference. She looked too kid-like with her colors as well. And the pigtails, I wasn't really feeling anymore. So what I did next is I worked on the hairstyle and the head design. But we're gonna talk about the head design really quick. Now I went through a lot of iterations. I debated on whether or not I wanted to keep the horns, if I wanted to keep the pointing ears and keep a lot of the features that I developed in my original character design. I eventually landed on something very similar to what it was before, except I had a bit of a rounder jawline. She looked a little bit more anime, a little bit more cutesy. I kept the pointy ears and the pointy horns. I just didn't want to change it too much because I feel like I really grasped my personality in my original character design. It was just a little bit too busy and it didn't represent me fully anymore, so that's why I changed the hairstyle and the face shape. I also changed the eye shape. My original eye shape was very angular, very almond shaped, a lot like how my eyes look in real life, but I wanted to change it up because I feel like this channel is very gremlin-y, but also very calm and chill and cute and kind. Very bubbly channel because that's who I am. I'm very bubbly, I'm very crazy, and I sound like peppy. Anyway, so I wanted to give her eyes a bit of a rounder shape. By the way, this wasn't intended to be a VTuber model at all. I just set it up so that I wouldn't have consistency mistakes. Now this right here was a bit of a debate in Discord. I uploaded a picture of a whole bunch of different hairstyles that I was thinking about for my character to have mainly, and it was a huge fight between C and D. C eventually won because my husband chose it and he gets, of course, priority, but I did miss D. So what we're gonna do with the model is we're gonna give her both of those hairstyles so that I can switch them between toggles. All right, and here I actually debated on changing the skin color. I ended up doing my regular skin color, but I did debate on whether or not I should give her blue, purple, or pink skin. The next bit was the clothes. Now the clothes were extraordinarily difficult. I had such a hard time making sure that the silhouette was good, but also not too complicated. My main goal for this character design is to be simple and streamlined, easy to animate, easy to draw quickly, and easily recognizable. A very simple color palette, way more simple than the one that I had before at least. I was going with a salmon pink kind of color paired with a teal. It felt a little bit vintage, a little bit older. It wasn't so bright and colorful and in your face. It also feels really calm to me. I don't know why, but for me, those colors feel really peaceful. So I eventually mixed matched a few different photos on Photoshop. There was a really cute pair of short shorts that had stitching on the front and a bow on the end. I really liked that one. I also thought a crop top with those long short sleeves. It's kind of hard to explain. Like, they're not like the baby tees, but they're a little bit longer of a sleeve. Those are my favorite shirts to wear in real life, and they're extremely comfy. It's something that I prefer. I put in the little undershirt both for, I guess, modesty, as well as giving a little bit more definition to the silhouette of the clothing. I also added some suspenders, again for the cuteness factor and also for the complexity factor. I don't know, I just wanted some more, you know, dynamicness, so that way it isn't just a shirt and a pair of shorts. And another little motif of this character design is that there are a lot of stars, and of course she has her horns and her ears, and we just want to go over a little bit why she has those ears and why she has those horns. Now the horns and the ears are meant to look kind of like a gremlin, just because I have that side to me and it only comes out when I'm really comfortable with someone. So it'll probably come out on YouTube after maybe a year or two of me consistently putting out videos, so definitely be warned and be excited for that, because that will come out eventually for y'all too. And the other side is I'm very sweet and very magical, and I really like space. So the space is integrated into all of these little stars and moons on my outfit. But yeah, so that basically goes over the character design, the colors I chose, as well as the features in my model that I want to incorporate into my final VTuber model. Now, I'm really glad I made such intensely detailed, amazing sketches, because this sped up my actual VTubing process so much. So if you guys do ever want to create your own VTuber, character design is extremely important before you create your model. Think about it really hard, because you're going to be putting a lot of work into this model, and you want to make sure that you'll be wanting to use this for the next at least year. Now let's dive into the actual cutting and layering process. Now this part was done in Procreate, as I mentioned before. Now I did have to separate these into 3 different Procreate files because of 1, how many layers I've done, 2, of course, the limit of Procreate, and 3, the size of my canvas. So I went 4K for this live 2D model. I didn't record like actual drawings capture of these drawings. I just went ahead and, you know, played the Procreate playback for you. The most important part about a VTuber model is keeping it symmetrical. Now you can have asymmetrical models, that is totally fine, totally doable. It just takes twice as long, because if you make it symmetrical, the whole half of the piece is copied on one side, flipped horizontally, so that's half of the work, especially if it's your first. If not, ignore what I'm saying, do whatever you want. Another thing, whenever you're making your model, plan for movement. When I say plan for movement, expect every part to move. So whenever you're importing your model into Live 2D or any other VTuber program, you need to make sure that there are layers in which things move. For example, like the head needs to be one layer, the arms other layers. Think about like a paper doll. I don't know if y'all are too young for this, or maybe I reached the right audience and you know exactly what I mean, but do you guys remember they were like pieces of paper that were put together with like staples that moved? It was really hard to explain. I usually think of puppeteering animation like that. That would be the same metaphor for the way that I am splitting up these layers. Now, I'm the type of person that's absolutely insane and wants to render and create everything layer by layer, but that was made a lot easier because I already drew her multiple times whenever I was creating her as a character. There's also different types of people who draw models. They like to cut up the model after they fully finish the drawing, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you some photos on how to properly layer your drawing, at least a basic way to do it. A lot of other people who make tutorials do this as well, just it's totally fine, don't worry about it. Just look at those, and that's how I layered my character, basically. That's what was going on. But yeah, so while I was going through this process, I was also thinking about toggles. So for toggles, now those are the things where you press a different button and something happens to your model. I wanted really badly, I wanted the waves, I wanted to like waving hello. Another thing I did was controllers. I also wanted, you know, the classic face shadow and the blush. Finally, I did want to, I made an OMG toggle or a what the fuck toggle, and then finally I'm planning on doing a bald toggle, so I made sure that my head looked good without hair. That's something that I really planned on for sure. Oh, and another thing, definitely make sure to separate the line layer from your head layer. Also, anything else where you really want that line to stay crisp, stay clean. Honestly, I say the more layers the better, because the worst case scenario is you have to merge a bunch of layers. Make sure you don't like merge too many things. There's a reason why the average VTuber model has 300-400 layers. Now, Now, another thing to think about is if you plan on animating in Live 2D with your model, like you know how some models have like that water effect or the glow pulsating effect, you'll want to add layers on like those little effects. Like for me, I have my little drawing tablet. I'm wanting to make an animated like drawing screen where I either like move like windows around on the tablet or I like draw a picture. And I would also recommend having like a shadow on your face that's separate, that's not merged, as well as a shadow underneath your neck. That's going to be really cool. It'll give your character a lot more volume. So I am doing a ton of naming, a ton of folders, a ton of organization for my layers, because once you merge it into the program, it's going to be really hard to tell what goes where. Keep all the head layers together, keep all the eye layers together, make sure to name everything either left or right. And another thing, you'll want to go ahead and do some final checks. Expand all your folders for organizing, make sure all the names look consistent. Also make sure to move some of these layers around just to make sure all the layers look clean, crisp, and if they were to move away from the back, once you're finally happy with what you've created, you will want to export this program as a PSD. You may forget some layers, you may realize that some layers are too merged or not merged enough, or put in a different spot, or you might have to make another layer to cover up your head when your bangs move like I did. So don't be afraid to go back. You can definitely change this later. But yeah, basically to go over this, I am super excited to get this started. I'm so excited for the debut I'm planning. I'm excited for all of this stuff that's happening. I am trying so hard to keep on working, keep staying motivated, and hopefully this will kick me in gear. If you're going to be doing this, make sure to sketch smart. Think about all the layers, think about all the moving parts. Make sure that you love your model whenever you are done sketching it and creating the concept art for it. If you don't love it now, you won't love it later, and then you'll just want to start over. I'm telling you, this is going to be a lot of work, and a lot more work than a regular drawing, that's for sure. So definitely really take this seriously if you want to do it. I hope you like this new kind of video. If you do, make sure to click that like button. It'll definitely help me out in getting seen by more people, and maybe pay to get my teeth fixed. I'm really excited to do that, but I do need to get some extra income for that. If y'all don't know, my teeth are really, really, really bad. I don't want to get into it too much, but I'm working on saving up to finally get them fixed so I can have a smile again and fix all of the abscesses and cavities and things like that. But yeah, don't forget to like and especially subscribe if you want to see more of this and see the rest of the series that's coming out next. And comment your worst experience about a program crashing when you haven't saved for a while. In the next video, we're gonna go over XY rigging and basic movements on Live 2D, and I'm so excited for that, and I'm so excited to see you next time. I hope you have a great rest of your day, rest of your evening, rest of your night, wherever you're at, and I love you so much. Bye bye.